Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ZDX. Only $459 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take $10,000 off a 2025 MDX at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The Sultan's choice for excitement and a caravan of savings awaits at Toyota of Hollywood. Your wish for savings has been granted with discounts of up to $4,500. Take a magic carpet ride in a Toyota Corolla, not $24,000, $19,988. Step into our Grand Bazaar where you'll find epic savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Oh, Sam, not again.
Dad! Initiating Daddy's back.
Yo!
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
All right. Good evening, boys and girls. Getting it going here. Before I start, I want to make sure I got the thumbs up here. Make sure audio-wise we are good as we get ready to rock and roll and talk a little bit about the Canes. Getting it done. Ugly first half, but figured it out. Found a way to, get it cranking. All right. I love it. All right. Well, it's beautiful, too, because as we start the show, the one and only Manny Navarro also has just joined us right now. So let's get ready for our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes post-game report.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on a Big O radio show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Manny, how you doing, baby? You doing good? Can you hear me? He's frozen. He's like frozen in time. He's just sitting there. Frozen. I can't hear him. Oh my God. What is going on here?
I'm doing great.
Okay, there we go. Okay, good. Finally, there we go.
I'm doing good. Right. How's my I can hear you. Can you hear my internet connection? Are we good?
Yeah, your internet connection's effed up, bro. You're like really
frozen.
Yeah, you're
all right.
You're
I'm gonna try to get unfrozen.
Right now, there's a lot of people looking at the screen going, wait a minute, did I smoke too much? Did you guys
now we're working?
Brownies? Yeah, it's fuzzy. I don't know if it'll hurt the audio. We'll see. Are you there?
Really?
Can you hear it? Go ahead, Flo. What do you got? Can you?
I'm gonna try to fix this internet connection.
Yeah,
for you, brother.
yeah. I think we're gonna have to reconnect there. I appreciate you, brother. See if we can reconnect.
Let me.
Yeah,
we better now.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Okay. It is actually, yeah. The picture's actually clearing up now. Now we can actually see your face. You know what you had was that fog. You know, chicks that are really ugly, they put like this fade on, and like you can barely see them and all that. And then when you meet them, it's like, holy crap, my God. You know, so you were doing that stuff that the ugly chicks do and the ugly guys do. Well, the guys I don't think do it, but the girls do it with that fuzziness and all that. So now you're beautiful. Now you're beautiful. Now you're good.
All right, man. Good. I want to be better looking for the audience. It's tough to begin with, so we're trying to make it better for you guys.
Manny, tonight was very, very important. We solved an issue here in South Florida. Do you know what it is?
That they can wake up and play football again. What was the issue that we solved?
Oh, there's a long-running pain in the ass problem here in South Florida, and these Canes are the ones that solved it.
Winning football in the stadium?
Nope. We beat that son of a bitch, Frank Reich.
All right, now I know where this is going.
Dude, for those of you that just were born yesterday, okay, the guy that was on the field with the perfect hair, Jimmy Johnson, his first year, they lost to Maryland and Frank Reich with a comeback. I don't know how many points they came back from, but it was like 20-something points. And then the son of a bitch becomes the backup to Jim Kelly. And every time he came off the bench, when Kelly would get hurt or whatever, Frank Reich's coming, he would bury the Dolphins. So here I am. I actually did not realize he was the interim coach. And I'm looking at this game at 7-7 at half. And I know, an old guy like me is thinking about this. Very few young people have any idea what's going on. But I'm thinking, this son of a bitch is at it again. He is a thorn in South Florida's side. So I'm going to give Mario Cristobal a little love because he brought down the sumbitch that has brought us down so many times over and over again, bro. Thank God.
He sure did. And he stuck it to him there with one final touchdown run to cover that 30-point spread. So that was a little extra, I thought.
Now that I told you,
handshake in the post game.
Now that I told you this you have no idea how much I was enjoying that final touchdown. Like I was.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
Stick it to that son of a bitch. I'm tired of that guy. He's been a pain in my ass my entire life, bro. I mean, that was just, dude. You were young, but like people wanted to fire Jimmy Johnson his first year that he went 8-5, and he finished with that game against Maryland where Frank Reich was like,
I remember. I had the chicken pox. I was 7 years old, sitting in front of my TV with the chicken pox, watching that game.
Yeah,
and I'll never forget it.
Miami Herald, Miami News. They were trashing his ass, and so obviously it was all, who's this guy from Oklahoma State and all that kind of stuff. I remember it like yesterday, so that's the one thing that is the beast that was tamed that I was very happy. Now, on a serious note, because I'm rarely ever serious, it was kind of an ugly start the first half. It was kind of frustrating, the offense, run up the middle, like change it up, guys, a little bit. I get it, stick with it, but kind of change it up a little bit. So that first half was a little frustrating.
Yeah, and I just thought, offensively, it felt like they just kept running their head into the wall, right? Trying to do the same thing over and over again, running the ball up the middle, being unsuccessful with it. I mean, let's face it, it was 7-0 Stanford until late in the first half. And it was a very uncomfortable feeling, I think, for Miami fans who, saw the point spread, 30 points, and thought, well, they're just going to come in and kick Stanford's ass. But it didn't happen until the second half, where they really started to get rolling. And I thought the key to the entire game was the defensive line. Because those guys started playing. They completely shut down the run and just dominated Stanford, I think, in the second half. And I got to look at what the exact numbers are.
That big drive. After the big drive that Stanford had and the running back got out in the open and all that, after that, they could not put together another drive like that. It was really the D-line and Malachi Toney today.
It really was. I mean, 14 carries for -8 yards for Stanford in the second half.
Yeah.
So they just completely shut them down and created those interceptions and the short field for the offense to go and score on. And Malachi Toney is just that dude. He needs something special on his helmet for everybody to know where he is, especially on a night when you're wearing camouflage. Camouflage for sure.
I can see him asking for a raise in the offseason.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's no question. I raised that question in the chat today and with the athletic writers when I was watching the game. I sent a message and I go, I wonder what Malachi Toney's worth in the transfer portal right now. Like if you got in the transfer portal right now, $3, $4, $5 million somebody would pay for him?
Easy. He's a game changer. I mean, we saw it tonight. His punt returns and as a receiver, the guy was everything. He flipped the field for you 2 times in those punt returns, a 42 and a 31-yarder, I believe. So, just ridiculous to watch what this kid, has done and how he plays at another level mentally, considering he's a baby. And so you have him for 2 more years because there's no way he plays his senior year. So you'll have him for 2 more years, but man, he's going to be getting a raise. That's for sure. Because wow, that guy can play. Xavier Lucas, dude.
Yeah, got an interception there. Played really good pass defense the entire game. I thought. They gave up, sack too, but they were just look. This Stanford offense. We knew wasn't good. We knew this wasn't a good team. They were 3-4. Yes, they beat Florida State last week in California, but just not a good offense overall. And, this is what they were supposed to do. They shut them down completely. And, Lucas is a guy they spent a lot of money on in the portal to bring him over. Obviously worth it, right? You start to see this guy's only in his second year, really didn't. I think he played maybe 200 snaps last season at Wisconsin, maybe less than that. So he's just starting to really come into his own now. 700, combined snaps underneath him. So you're starting to see why he was so valued in the portal and what he can do. This, to me, what I take away from this game and what I take away from the last couple of weeks, is that this is how Miami has to win. They're not gonna beat you throwing the ball over the field with Carson Beck. Just not.
Yeah, that's it. It's just not looking like that. Yeah, and the screwed up part is you have weapons that you should be able to do. The tight end should be much more involved. The CJ Daniels catch was a bad throw. You put it back of the DB. He had to go over the back of the DB. It was a better effort by CJ. Now CJ had to make up for dropping the other pass. You know what I'm saying? But to CJ's credit, he went over the back, and it's what you said. You look at Carson. Yeah, his accuracy is just
he's much better. He's much better with play action, like most quarterbacks, right? He just is. He needs a running game to be successful. And if not, it's find Malachi Toney and just get the ball in his hands and let the guy cook. Like that's basically what their offense is.
Right.
When the running game is not there, that's what it is. So you have Malachi. Hopefully he stays healthy the whole season and you're able to hold on to him. He's not a big dude, right? But
I know that's what I worry about, the overusage of Malachi Toney. I understand because he's one of your few game changers, and today he proved it, why he is who he is. But wow, I do worry a little bit about overusage with him.
Yeah, and that's why you need other guys to emerge, and it was good to see. Like, it was really important. We talked about this before the season and during the week. Is that Miami needs to start getting these younger players in the game, right? Then these guys need snaps. When Miami built depth, it was because they were blowing people out, and you were able to get the backup running backs in. You were able to get, Chris Wheatley-Humphrey 7 carries for 27 yards, and Jared Pringle 3 carries for 12 yards, and that's important. Those guys have to be involved, not only because you don't want them to get into the portal and leave, but because you want them to feel like they're actually getting something out of the season, so that next year when you lose Mark Fletcher and you lose other guys who go to the NFL, you have somebody who can play, And that's all part of this, man. Like, those guys need reps, and eventually, Malachi Tony goes down, or he's got to go out for a series, or he's banged up, or whatever it is. You have somebody else you can lean on for offense, and they need to get those guys involved more and more and more. And tonight was important for them to dominate the way they did in the second half and get that done.
Let me tell you, I know it's frustrating, the running up the middle and early on, but I will give them credit. Stick to the run, keep feeding Mark Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
And today, 3 touchdowns, 23 rushes, 106 yards. He also had 3 catches for 13. You do got to stay with the horse, bro, because eventually the horse is going to wear people down and break out.
Yeah, and I noticed something today. It kind of showed itself a little bit more. James Brockermeyer, their center, is not a good run blocker. Ooh. He gets pushed back a lot, and I think a lot of their problems when you're running through the A gap and it's getting blown up, you need to change something up there. And in the second half, they made small little.
Sundays, by the way, on Sundays, he was looking like Savanaya on Sundays. There are a couple.
Oh yeah. But they did something in the second half, and I got to go back and look at the film to really understand it. But they did something in the second half where they were able to find some creases for Fletcher. I don't know if it was pulling a guard a little bit or just blocking at a different angle, but they were able to do something to free Fletcher up a little bit more in that running game.
One of the guys on the chat board at Lenny says the Canes have a kindergarten schemed running game. I mean,
it's very basic, dude. It really is.
You would like to see some outside zones and stuff, and you'd like to see a little bit more, toss. You'd like to see a little bit more of mixing it up a little bit more with what you have. You do have a plethora of backs, and you have different kinds of backs, so you can use them in different kinds of ways. And it is kind of what Lenny says. It is kind of very basic.
It really is, and I think I studied a lot of how things went for Mario at Oregon before he got here, and talked to a lot of Oregon writers before he, when that whole thing was starting, he was going to leave there to come over here, and a lot of them said, be prepared to be really frustrated with Mario, because even when things are going good, his offense keeps other teams in the game because he just wants to keep running the ball up the middle. And I think that's something that has rung true, which is starting to prove itself this year when you don't have a Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo and a pass offense as lethal as you want. As good as your offensive line might be, right? You might have a first-round pick at right tackle. You might have another 2 guys or 3 guys on that offensive line that can be draft picks. But if you keep things too simple, yet you let the opponent settle in and study you and take things away. And we know Carson Beck is not good enough as a quarterback to win without a running game. And so that's what Louisville did, brother. They just figured it out. They just figured it out.
Stanford didn't have their talent. That's why they couldn't do it.
Right. After a while, it just the scheme worked for a half. Right. But Miami, like I said, I want to see exactly what the small wrinkle was because I couldn't tell watching it. But I think
it looked to me more like they wore them down, like they were just more. They executed it a little better in the second half and just
they were hitting. It felt like maybe they were running off of guard a little bit more, but I don't know what they were doing specifically to allow that space for Fletcher to get through, because there was that. I think it was after 21-7, that next drive when Fletcher had those long runs up the middle.
Right. Yeah.
When they finally really started to run the football, that drive, I don't know exactly what I want to watch a film to really know, but you can specify inside zone, duo, whatever other, schemes you think it was, but he did something there, and I think it was because they saw Brockermeyer was just getting his butt kicked.
Well, by the way, what do we know about the injury to the pass rusher before the game? Because he didn't.
Mesidor, obviously not good. Mario went to the Butch Davis School of Lying, so he's not going to say much about what the real situation is, right? We didn't know where JoJo Trader was for half the season. I think the fact that he was on the sideline is encouraging, because when guys have season-ending injuries, they don't come back to the sideline. You kind of don't see him again. So the fact that he was there, standing, walking around with his teammates, tells me they'll be back at some point. I just don't know when.
The only thing, like tonight, they pulled away in the second half, and they played in the second half the way they should have started the game, and that's good to see, and it's good that they won and all that, and they beat damn Frank Reich. But because of that first half, it just leaves you with a little bit of doubt with the staff, because you still have a few games left, and you got SMU next week. You still got at Pitt. I don't know if Syracuse, NC State, and Vatek really are that much of a threat, but you still got a couple games that, man, you just wonder, can they get tripped up? You know what I mean? SMU didn't play well today. So
listen, how many years is
a good thing for Miami that they didn't play well today?
Right. I saw SMU lost, and said that might actually be worse for Miami, right? Because Rhett Lashley's going to go back to the drawing board now and come up with something new.
They lost to
I don't know what to tell you. We've seen this program 20 years now. We have 20 years of evidence. It doesn't matter who lines up against them. You should be scared every single week. You know?
Yeah. That's nuts. All right, what are you working on the Athletics so Canes fans can check you out, my man?
Well, I'll have another podcast again next week, the Wide Right Pod. I actually have a story on North Carolina and Bill Belichick and what's going on there. They came close to winning today. Oh, good for Bill.
Version, baby. I saw it.
He went for it. Give him kudos for that. And listen, his defense finally showed up and played well. So
they did. I don't know why you went for the 2-point conversion. Have patience, bro. Play the game. Take the extra point. This is why you are what you are this year, because you make those kind of. You don't have the kind of offense that you can count on that, dude. I mean, consistent enough in that passing game and all that. I don't know why you did that, to be honest.
But you know what? I wouldn't. I know people are, hey, this guy sucks. He's never. I think he's good enough to get that team next year or the year after over 500 again, because you can buy players, and he'll buy. Listen, they'll have enough time to buy players and get them back to 500. They're terrible this year.
The money they have is no different than everybody else, except without the drama and with Jordan Hudson and that clown show. I don't know, dude. I don't know if North Carolina stays with him if this whole fiasco continues with Jordan Hudson. There's still stuff that is unearthed now.
That's without question the bigger issue is Jordan Hudson and the distractions and everything else. No, there's no doubt. But I think from a football perspective, yes, he's going to have a bad first year. Mario went 5-7 his first year, right? I mean, you know.
Yeah, but his place looks toxic. Where Mario, that was just a program that he took over. This is a toxic. Like, they weren't toxic. Now they became toxic since he got there with Jordan. I don't know how you sell NIL saying, oh, we're better than this place, when the kid or the parents are going to say, no, why don't you just go over here, because they don't have that drama. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. I think they put up one more year with this, but if he doesn't get it like turned around like fast, I don't know why they would stay. This is a 75-year-old man, bro.
Yeah, I get it. But I think he's waiting to hand it off to his son, and a lot of powerful people spend a lot of money to put him in charge.
I know. It's funny, and it's funny because the AD is the one that didn't want him, so he's just going, "I told you. He's the only one that you can't fire him, because he's the one that said, no, I don't want any part of this. And he's the one that's looking like a genius right now. It's like, okay, the guy you hired to do that job, you didn't let him do his job.
Yeah.
Man,
you might get the last laugh in the end, but right now, I don't see.
The old man's getting the last laugh, bro. He's getting $50 million and a 24-year-old of ass. So
of course,
I mean, he's winning big time. Any 75-year-old man wants to have a 25-year-old girlfriend. Please give me a
break. Absolutely.
So he's winning every day of the week, even though he's getting embarrassed along the way. Crazy. All right, follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch his exceptional work there at The Athletic. Manny, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you as always.
Anytime. We'll talk soon.
You got it. Caneswear, baby. Now, when we talk about Caneswear, they know how to get it done. And go see my guy, Brett Jeff, Jack, Ken Graff. I mean, they're all there, always getting it done. They work hard, and you could get our 10% off. Use our code BIG010. Anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. They got Dolphins logo. They got this hat here, this hat here. They've got the Panthers gear, the championship gear, the back-to-back championship gear, all kinds of stuff there at Canes, or Miami Heat gear. What a game yesterday, huh? Probably an aberration, but it was fun to watch the Heat light up Memphis last night. Inter Miami gear. They've got it all for you there. And remember, if you order online, because you can go to caneswear.com, over $99, you're going to get free shipping, and you use our code BIG010, and you will get 10% off at caneswear.com. And we thank Manny Navarro with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Remember, folks, and thank you so much for tuning in on a Saturday night at 10:30. You guys are the real fans. I appreciate it. Real supporters. Don't forget, please smash the hell out of the like button. Get us over 100 already, man. Let's go get the algorithms going. Remember, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Solana donation as always. Sweet Baby Ray, thank you for the love on Cash App. I appreciate you. He says, so Reich had a supporting cast in Maryland and the Bills. Yes, well, the Bills team was absolutely loaded. The Canes team was in transition back in the day because it was going, Jimmy Johnson was taking over after Howard left. And so there was a transition there. And that first year for Jimmy was 8-5, and Frank Reich and Maryland beat him, and it was an upset. And that's why I was losing my mind in this game, because I'm like, I am tortured. Anybody that's my age or older is tortured by Frank Reich. Canes or Dolphins, tortured, bro. I mean, Frank Reich has been a part of embarrassing us over and over again. And I'm sitting there in that first half. I know a lot of people weren't thinking about it, but, a lot of people aren't me that have born and raised and seen everything in this damn town. So it's kind of like everything's in my mind that I've lived it all. And so I know that there were only a couple people possibly thinking about this. A lot of people probably even forgot about it over time. But, man, I'm looking at that first half, and it's 7-0, and then finally 7-7. And I'm thinking, that son of a bitch Frank Reich is doing it to us again. I swear. It was driving me crazy. And I was so happy Mario stuck it to him. Mario also has a little bit of history. He knows back in the day what happened. He was young enough at that time. He's old enough to know what happened at that time and how Frank Reich and Maryland screwed Jimmy in that season. And that was a rough loss for Jimmy, and then he comes back with the Bills over and over again and beats us. I want to say he might have beat us like in another uniform, like with the Carolina Panthers or some other team he played for. I want to say Frank Reich beat us also there, like something stupid like that. Like I forgot what it was. Maybe one of you can. Sean's not with me today, so I can't ask him. Hey, can you go see if Frank Reich beat us not only as a Cane but and a Bill, but another team in the NFL? I want to say he did beat us with another team in the NFL. That I have nightmares of that guy. I'm tired of losing to that guy. So I am so glad they got the running game going. They got and Malachi Tony. Oh my God, he is as special as they get, dude. And I have got to also award our Murias Dental MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? There's only one MVP for your family's dental care.
Murias Dental. Get your smile back at Murias Dental. Visit them on Instagram at murias.dental.
Here's our Murias Dental MVP of the night.
Defense, man. Guys like Xavier Lucas, who had a sack, an interception, Armando Blunt, Wesley Basaint had another interception. The guys were all over the place after that first drive that Stanford put up to 7 points. And we were like, oh, my God, what's going on? The defense adjusted, and they shut these fools down, and they did not allow them to do anything. The quarterback, Ben Goodbranson, went 9 of 21 for a measly 50 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. They ran the ball 27 times for a total of 55 yards. And if you take out that 28-yard run in the first drive when they scored 7 points, you can also see that there wasn't a lot of yards after that. They shut it down. Receiving, they had 12 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown. The defense was all over the place. Just a beautiful. The D-line was pressuring the quarterback, making it uncomfortable for them. And to me, that's what really brought it, that defense. That defense ended up shutting them down and producing in a big-time way. I was really, really proud of the defense. They're the guys that just kind of, while the offense couldn't figure its shit out in the first half, the defense, after that one drive, kept them in the game until the offense could score and even it up going into that, which wasn't happy. You and I were not satisfied with a 7-7 half, but you were satisfied that after that drive, the defense said, Roberto Duran, baby, no mas, no mas. And by the way, call our friends at Moody's Dental if you want to have that clean sheet. And, of course, whether it's Invisaligns, dental implants, preventive care, cosmetic surgery, our entire family goes there. You can go there to Moody's Dental, Dade County, 305-821-0231, implantation 954-692-6825. I've got to go with the defense, and I've got to give them our Moody's Dental MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by Moody's Dental.
From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams. To schedule an appointment in Dade, call 305-821-0231. In Broward, 954-692-6825. Follow them on Instagram at moodys.dental, providing MVP smiles every day of the year.
Amen to that. And we thank the folks at Moody's Dental, Dade or Broward County, by the way. Broward, 954-692-6825 in Hialeah, or in Dade County, 305-821-0231. Horn Dog says, I think Frank beat us with the Carolina Panthers. I think so, Horn Dog. I remember him beating us with another team that just was, just pisses me off. As a true blue South Floridian, and love all my teams. Yeah, I've been damaged by that man, unfortunately. I see Joseph is in, Sweet Baby Ray, Pan con Bistec, Silver Dome. Yo, those uniforms, my God. Listen, it has nothing to do with the military. We love the military. We thank them for every day that we live in a free United States of America. I get all of that. Okay, my dad served, dude. I mean, give me a break. I work with somebody that serves every day in Sean Stanley, so I'm all for it. Those uniforms sucked. Those uniforms were as bad as Mario Cristobal's Spanish. Okay, and by the way, the team played like Mario Cristobal's Spanish in the first half. Did Mario tell them that he wasn't good in Spanish? Just wondering, because those were two things that, like, the first half sucked, the uniform sucked, and Mario Cristobal's Spanish segment sucked. And Mario Cristobal sounds like dudes like me that Spanish is our second language. We don't practice it. We don't really use it that much. And then when you ask us stuff, we sound like a total American, because that's kind of what we are. Born and raised here, you just didn't talk a lot of Spanish. It's funny like that. You only talk slang. You mix it up a little Spanglish, but you don't really go heavily into it. You know what I mean? And it's a disservice that we do to ourselves. By the way, think about it. You're born where you can easily learn a second language naturally as you're growing up with the people, and yet you don't really practice it much, you know? And so I'm guilty too. So I'm just going to say that, you know, in a situation like that, you tell them, hey, I'm not very good. Like Anthony Munoz. Years ago, I wanted to interview Anthony Munoz. And I guess he's gotten better now. But when I wanted to interview him, this was 25 years ago, 30 years ago, they literally came back to me and said, yeah, he's not very comfortable talking Spanish. And it was a Spanish show. So, yeah, it was 30 years ago when I was doing it. It was a Spanish show that I had, and he couldn't speak Spanish. So, and it's Anthony Munoz. So it happened. So I thought it was funny watching that uncomfortable Spanish segment that they forced. You know what I'm saying? Which I was like, dude, don't force this shit, because then it sounds worse for the guy, you know, because the Hispanic people, some of them will hold it against you that you, oh my God, you don't even speak our language and you haven't taken the time and all that. And it's like, yo, dude, I'm stuck in America. What do you want me to do? You know, but whatever. It's just funny. And those uniforms were hideous. Mario Cristobal's Spanish is hideous. That first half was hideous. So there was a lot of hideous shit going on at the beginning of that game. Yeah, there was stuff that like, oh my God, they made him talk Spanish. Oh, wow, they can't stop running up the middle and failing. Oh, wow, they can't score. Oh, wow, those uniforms. Oh, his Spanish. There was just a lot of shit going on in the first half. Oh, my God, it's Frank Reich again. I had that one. A lot of you didn't have that one, but I had that one. I had that burden on me. I was carrying stinking Frank Reich. Son of a bitch. Anyway, Mario has another couple of years. If we don't win the ACC and make a deep run in the playoffs, he needs to go. Yeah. They'll give him at least through 6 years. If any of this stuff continues. By the way, we have a final in the World Series. The Dodgers win 5-1. The series is tied at a game apiece. All right. So there you go. And congratulations to the Panthers beating the Vegas Knights tonight. 3-0. Let's see. He never, one guy says here, he never beat us on another team. He was 0-5 as a starter in Carolina. Well, thank you, Jay. Did he play anywhere else? Are you sure? I'm really like badly damaged. I want to say, was he a coach? Was he an interim coach? And he beat us with another team. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe Frank Reich was a coach, not a quarterback. I don't know why I have in my mind like he also beat us somewhere else too. Somewhere else that I just don't know. I'm damaged. I'm damaged. I'm sorry. Dolphin says he beat Houston in that massive comeback. Then Buffalo came and beat the Dolphins in the AFC Championship game. If Houston comes to Miami, Marino goes back to the Super Bowl. Yeah, and if we don't choke against the Patriots, we're back against the Bears. You know, that's why we're losers. Because all Dolphin fans ever say is if. That's why we're fucking losers, bro. Because the entire Dolphin existence is about if. Because they never do shit. So it's always if they did this, if they took that player, if that team didn't win, if they didn't choke here, if that, that's just kind of the way it goes. That's the life of a loser Dolphins fan. If. That's the loser talk that is always associated with us. If. Let's see. He never played for the Colts, says Jay Myers. So somebody's going through the history. Rosendo says, I remember Radio Acción when I started listening to you. Jesus Christ. Wow. That's a long time ago. Let's see. What else? Miami Hurricanes and Miami Heat victory cigar. That's all Monday when we do a regular talk show. Today, it's victory cigars for only one team and one team only, the Miami Hurricanes. That's what it's all about, baby. Yeah. And, of course, there's always something else that you want to know. What was the Sloman's key decision of the game?
What was the deciding moment? Who made the right move? Where did the game change? It's the Sloman's key decision of the game. Make the smart decision to protect your home and family by calling Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME, serving Americans for nearly 100 years. Here's our Sloman's key decision of the game.
You know, you and I were really pissed off. And, you know, if somebody breaks into your house and you could have had Sloman's Shield Link, well, you'd be pissed off because if you had Shield Link, you could see cameras in your house, outside. You can see anybody that approaches your house, you're already recording it. Those kind of things. You got dogs like we do, you can get the alert. See, you'd get pissed if you didn't have that stuff. So that's why you got to call 1-800-ALARM-ME. We were pissed off in the first half because they kept failing. They kept running in the middle and failing. But eventually, to their credit, they stuck with it. And the key decision of the game, sure, we could go with Malachi Tony. Sure, we could go with the defense, but that's not necessarily a key decision. That's something that you normally do. The key decision was you could have stayed away from the run and say, yeah, we're not going to do that. No, dog. They kept running it, and even in the middle, and they started succeeding up the middle. Key decision of the game, staying with Mark Fletcher, who's a man and a half, and rushed 23 times for 106 yards and wore down Stanford. And the line started figuring things out and giving him a little bit more of a hole so he can hit. Scored 3 touchdowns, also had 3 receptions for 13 yards. I'm telling you, Mark Fletcher, that was a key decision of the game. Never go away from the running game. Stay with it. Get a little bit, maybe change it up a little bit there, Mario and the boys. But, Shannon, come on, mix it up a little bit. But, stay cutting edge. Like Shield Link. Home automation. Homeowners can adjust the thermostat, switch lights on and off, lock the doors. That is a difference maker right there, baby. That's the key decision right there. Your kid walks out the door, they're on the phone, they close the door, and you're seeing it on video because you got a warning that the door is unlocked. And your kid's on the phone, being kids, and they don't lock the door. Now you could go to your phone and lock the door and then call your son or daughter and rip them a new one. That alone is where Shield Link, where you get to rip them a new one for doing something stupid. Isn't that fun? Control the thermostat. You're headed home. The house is hot. You want to cool it down. Or it's a little bit of a warmer day and the doggies are in the house like we do. Well, we turn the air down for our doggies so they can have a comfortable atmosphere. Yeah, we spoil our dogs, man. They hang out on couches. They get the AC. They get treated like human beings, and they get protected by Shield Link. Protect the people you love. So reach out to our friends at Sloman's, 1-800-ALARM-ME. And the key decision of the game is staying with the one and only Mark Fletcher, baby.
Our key decision of the game is brought to you by Sloman's Home Shield. When you want to protect your home, family, or business, call Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All right. No doubt. How about if Jordan Travis didn't get injured and the Knowles got snubbed? Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But, that's kind of like a really legit one that really changed the whole, but that I'm not going to blame you guys because you guys don't live on the ifs. I'm just saying a Dolphin thing. God, we live on so many ifs. It's just kind of disgusting, to be quite honest. What else do we have here? Thank you, Big O. If is loser talk. That's right. Big O, does the new run and gun offense for the Miami Heat improve our chances? Dude, last night for me was just an aberration. I'm not going to talk too much about this. It was fun. I loved it. But that happens in basketball in an 82-game schedule, that you have a night where everything's falling, everything goes your way, and that's how I'm going to look at that. You got to show me through a couple weeks that this is real. You know what I'm saying? Aberration completely until proven otherwise. What else do we have here? And remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Solana donations as always. And football fanatic says Manny is right. The center keeps getting blown up. Yeah, that was kind of a couple times, man. I saw it too, where he got blown up, and the line the O-line for the Canes has not looked as dominant as it did early on. It's been figured out a little bit. So they got to work a little harder. You know what I'm saying? And look, let's go around the ACC. Georgia Tech pounded Syracuse 41-16. G-Tech is the top team in the ACC right now. Obviously, they're 8-0, 5-0 in the conference. Syracuse drops to 3-5. They're 1-4 in the conference. Virginia beat UNC, number 16, Virginia, by the way, and Georgia Tech's number 7. They beat UNC 17-16 in overtime. Bill Belichick. Chapel Bill drops to 2-6, 0-3 in the conference. Virginia improves to 7-1, 4-0 in the conference. Miami doesn't play Virginia, but and they don't play Georgia Tech, which they get a massive break there. Wake Forest beat SMU, the team that they play next week, 13-12. Wake Forest is not bad. They're 5-2, 2-2 in the conference. SMU's 5-3, 3-1 in the conference. Now that was their first conference loss. So we'll see. This one's going to be, Rhett Lashley's going to want this one badly. Pitt all over NC State. They play both NC State on November 15, and they wrap the season up with at Pitt at November 29th. Pitt routed them 53-34. Pitt is 6-2 and 4-1 in the conference. NC State's 4-4, 1-3 in the conference. Miami should handle NC State. I'm not worried about that one, but the Pitt game is a game that could surprise Miami. SMU and Pitt are the two games that I'm a little nervous that are left. I'm not worried about the Cuse. I'm not worried about NC State, and I'm not worried about Vatech. You should win all three of them. And going to Blacksburg nowadays is not like how it used to be. So, that's garbage. But at SMU this week and the last game against Pitt out of the last 5, those are the two games that I respect, have a healthy respect for. California, by the way, they beat Vatech. Vatech beat California 42-34 yesterday, which was, crazy shit that California losing to Vatech, and Vatech isn't very good. Now, in the rest of the ACC, there's only one more game, and let me see if I can give you that score right now. I'll give you that score because it's Louisville and Boston College, which you would expect Louisville to be winning here, and they are beating Boston College 31-24 with the ball and 2:52 left in the fourth. So Louisville looks like number 19 Louisville will be in control and pick up their third win in the conference, going 3-1 and improving to 6-1 overall. So that's kind of what's going on around the ACC and what's left on the schedule for the Miami Hurricanes. RQ305 says, Big O, I do not see a real first-round QB I like this year. I think I'm not. That's Monday, my brother. I'm not talking NFL draft. I'm not talking Dolphins here. That's not what this is about. This is about the Canes, dude. It's all about the Canes. So I'm not talking about Inter. I'm not talking about the NBA or anything like that. I'll mention something in passing, but that's for Monday's show that we'll go through all of that. Rosendo says, I hope I'm wrong, but after this gambling scheme, I'm starting to look at sports a bit different. I've always looked at the NBA as a dirty sport. They've been dirty forever. I don't look at football that way, or hockey, or any sport, pretty much. But basketball, I've always looked at basketball as a dirty sport. Always, all my life. I've always looked. They've had cocaine and gambling problems all the way dating back to the 70s when they ended up on tape delay. So this is nothing that's nothing new that basketball has a dirty element to it. It's always had a dirty element to it. Always. That's never changed. If I'm old enough that I've seen it all throughout my history, that's the one league that constantly has its issues with gambling. Always. Kenneth in Cleveland is live in the Boom Boom Room. Way to go, baby. Way to go. Welcome back. Haven't seen you here forever. Daniel Guzman says Boston College was hanging around Louisville but pissed down their leg and fell apart. I mean, that's kind of what's going to happen. See, and that's the Canes. When we worry about them like we did in the first half against Stanford, it's kind of like you're beating yourselves. And you're wondering what the hell is going on here. And it's kind of pissing down your leg. Exactly what you're saying. And that's why Miami wins 42-7. And if you didn't watch the game, you'd go, oh, it was an easy game. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. The first half was kind of scary. And then they kind of figured it out in the second half. So, and the problem is that Mario Cristobal has a history of brain farts. He has a history of coming up short in certain moments. And you worry, was this going to be a moment, or is this going to rear its ugly head like it did against Louisville and like it did for a half here? Because you and I were saying in the first half, oh, shit, this last week rolled over. They didn't wake up. That's what you were saying and I were saying. If it wasn't for the defense, Joe Cracciola, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. You are a stud. Thank you for your generosity. Big O, you are the go-to voice of South Florida sports. Don't always agree with your opinions, but I don't ever question your passion. Love the show. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very kind of you. Appreciate you. Cash App or Venmo, just like Joe. And you can send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff. We always appreciate all of them, especially the insults, of course, because, it's always fun to, be disliked, I guess. I don't know. Whatever, but we appreciate it. Thank you out there. Jack Roldan. Didn't watch the game, just saying hi. Thank you, Jack, bro. You see what I mean? That's just this, it's the only reason why we survive. We survive because people love the show, support us, and we really appreciate that immensely. Thank you, Jack. Very nice. You say hi to the family, of course. All right, good stuff there. Dodgers get it done 5-1 overall. Panthers get it done over the Vegas Knights. They will be back in action on Tuesday against Anaheim. Tomorrow, we're going to be back at 11:30 to get you ready for the Dolphins and the Falcons. Okay, and we'll have our pre and post game show as always. No doubt says thank to you for shaming that stupid tree. For shaming that stupid tree? What does that mean? Shaming or shaving or what was it? You lost me on that one. I'm sorry. That one went over my head. Green tree practice field or something? What are we talking about here? I must have. That one went over my head, dude. I'm so sorry. AJ says, Big O, you are the voice of South Florida sports, and I always agree with everything you say. Oh, that's boring, but thank you. I appreciate that. RQ says, Miami's D coordinator has shown that he can adjust. Shannon has not. Is it Shannon or Mario putting down on him? No. I'm not. I'm going to blame Shannon. Because Shannon had the green light last year with Cam, and they did a lot of crazy shit, and Mario allowed it. I thought last year was a growing moment for Mario Cristobal. He kind of put away his conservative approach at times, and he allowed them to be aggressive and do things that I'm not used to seeing Mario Cristobal do. So I gotta give Mario some love last year. A lot of people just didn't do that. And I did, which I thought it was a little bit of growth in him. But to his credit, I think he's allowing his coordinators to coordinate and call things. I don't think he's really putting a kibosh on them, for anything overall in a conservative approach or. So I think the bad decisions that are going on, the ones that you disagree with, you have to give either the defensive coordinator his props for his adjustments or the lack of adjustments on offense or the lack of creativity or maybe the lack of confidence in Beck or maybe not a good enough preparation of Beck. Maybe you're not providing the right route tree that he needs in order to succeed because at times if the run game isn't working, you've got to find a way to design a pass game for him to make him more effective. What I've noticed about Beck is I don't think he's the guy that's going to read things and throw it through multiple windows and levels of the defense. I think he's the guy that's going to see the route outright and then throw it. But his anticipatory skills, I don't think they're great. And so that's why that's why he reacts actually late to things. Okay, because I don't think he has great anticipatory skills overall. And his accuracy is just not what I would like for a quarterback that you're paying that much money to be quite honest. He has a great run game overall, and he has great weapons, and he should be playing a lot better and making better decisions. So Beck's a nice player, but he's not the guy from last year. The guy from last year was wired differently. The guy from last year was the shit. And the fact that you couldn't even get to the ACC championship game, that's where Mario really fell short last year. You can't have a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback and not be one of the best teams in the country. And he wasn't. And that was unacceptable, I have to say, for Mario last year. Daniel Guzman says Canes will need a little help to make the ACC title game. Well, we'll see. Hopefully things break down. If it doesn't, they get what they deserve. You know what I mean? You had your chance to set yourself up. That's all. I think Shannon needs a mobile QB like a John Matter, which we tried to get. Beck is a better version of TVD, but it needs to. I don't believe in any of that, dude. You can make a living from the pocket. Guys that are not great runners, you just got to know how to read and react and throw the ball. And then your offensive coordinator has got to know how to design an offense to complement your skills. That's really what it's all about. It's really about your OC understanding each talent and how to maximize them. Ken Dorsey couldn't move around, and he was fantastic. Steve Walsh couldn't move around, and he was fantastic. And Bernie Kosar couldn't move around, and he's fantastic. So you can do it. You don't have to be super mobile. Does it help? Of course it helps. But you can win in this league without having, because eventually, in the heat of the moment, you're going to have to make a living from the pocket. You're going to have to make some of your most important throws from the pocket. So if you're a quarterback that can't make a living from the pocket and you must use your legs in order to be an effective quarterback, it's the opposite of what I'm talking about. And that's the problem, that sometimes we end up with the guy. See, Cam Ward would run, and it was like a last resort. He was actually a real pocket passer. He reminds me a lot of Warren Moon in that sense. That Warren Moon had a gun, and he could move around and stuff, but he wasn't about running and all that. And he could run, but he wasn't going to be running a bunch. And he was a pocket passer through and through. And I think Cam Ward's going to be the same way. In the end, you can run, but, man, you've got to be able to make a living from the pocket. And if you're looking at a quarterback that because he can run is the reason why he's effective, I'm afraid of those guys. Because now you're asking for him to be perfect on the day you need him to make a couple throws from the pocket. And then you're just kind of rolling the dice there. Just rather have the guy that, sure, if he can run around, buy some time, fantastic. But I need you to be accurate from the pocket all the time. All the time. I need you to be able to manipulate the pocket. I need you to be able to manipulate the coverage. I need you to do all those kind of things, and then we're fine. But I don't want the guy that it requires his legs in order to be an effective quarterback. I want his legs to be a separate weapon that can help him and complement him, but not the reason why he is what he is. Those are the guys I don't trust. Those are the guys that scare me because they rarely ever come through for you, unfortunately. Let's see. We didn't make the ACC last year because we had no defense. Yeah, No, because most of the guys that came back, they did add a couple guys, you're right, in the secondary. But I think if we had Corey last year, the defense would have been much better. Much better. And put it this way, you might be in the ACC championship game with Corey. Yeah. There was no way that Corey would have allowed that defense to be as bad as it was last year. That guy was a bad coach. He was a bad coach. This guy's a good coach. This is a good coach. Because there's a lot of the same guys that are there, and they just didn't have the same kind of years they're having now. I gotta give the defensive coordinator, sometimes we got to give people the love that they deserve. And I'm going to give Corey the definitely the props that he deserves for doing it. All right, folks, we will see you tomorrow. We'll be back at 11:30 to get you ready for the Dolphins and the Falcons. We thank Manny Navarro, and we thank all of you for tuning in out there. Please smash the hell out of the like button. Get us over 100, man. Still haven't gotten over 100. We're only 5 away. So before you leave, please smash the hell out of the like button and get us over the 100 there so it could get the algorithms going. We'll see you tomorrow at 11:30, same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the